Did you know that studies show people who engage in regular spiritual practices report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction? It's true. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life and forget to nurture our spiritual side. But as we head into 2024, I want to encourage you to make spiritual growth a priority. Cultivating a deeper faith and connection with God can have a profound impact on our overall well-being and bring us a sense of purpose and direction. As we seek to grow in our faith, it's essential to recognize the importance of spiritual growth in today's world. With so many distractions vying for our attention, it's easy to let our spiritual practices fall by the wayside. But by making a conscious effort to prioritize our faith, we can experience a deeper sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment. So, let's commit to making 2024 the year we take our spiritual growth to the next level. In a world that's increasingly focused on material success and external validation, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But as Christians, we know that our true identity and worth come from our relationship with God. By deepening our connection with Him, we can find a sense of purpose and direction that goes beyond the fleeting things of this world. So, let's make a conscious effort to prioritize our faith and see the transformative power it can have in our lives. One of the biggest challenges we face in our spiritual journeys is staying motivated and consistent. It's easy to start strong, but as time goes on, our enthusiasm can wane, and our spiritual practices can fall by the wayside. But I want to encourage you to stay committed to your faith, even when it's hard. Because the truth is, the biggest growth often happens in the darkest times. Distractions from daily life can be a significant obstacle to our spiritual growth. With so many demands on our time and attention, it's easy to let our spiritual practices fall by the wayside. But by making a conscious effort to prioritize our faith, we can overcome these distractions and stay focused on what truly matters. Feelings of doubt or isolation can also be a significant challenge to our spiritual growth. It's easy to feel like we're alone in our struggles, and that no one understands what we're going through. But I want to remind you that you're not alone. We're all in this together, and God is always with us, even in the darkest times. In addition to distractions and feelings of doubt or isolation, we often face internal struggles that can make it hard to grow in our faith. Fear, anxiety, and self-doubt can all hold us back from experiencing the fullness of God's love and presence in our lives. But despite these challenges, it's never too late to start again. We can always come back to God, no matter how far we've strayed or how many times we've failed. And when we do, we can experience the transformative power of His love and forgiveness. So, how can we overcome these challenges and start deepening our connection with God? One of the most effective ways is through prayer. Prayer is a powerful tool that can help us connect with God on a deeper level and experience His presence in our lives. Meditation is another powerful tool that can help us deepen our connection with God. By taking a few minutes each day to quiet our minds and focus on God's presence, we can experience a deeper sense of peace and connection with Him. Involving ourselves in a community of like-minded believers is also essential for spiritual growth. When we surround ourselves with people who share our values and are committed to growing in their faith, we can experience a sense of accountability and support that can help us stay motivated and consistent. Another practical step we can take is to read and reflect on God's Word. The Bible is a powerful tool that can help us understand God's character and nature, and experience His presence in our lives. In addition to these practical steps, it's essential to recognize the importance of forgiveness and self-reflection in our spiritual journeys. When we're willing to confront our own weaknesses and failures, we can experience a deeper sense of humility and openness to God's presence in our lives. We can also learn from the examples of faith heroes throughout history who have demonstrated remarkable courage and perseverance in the face of adversity. By learning from their examples, we can gain a deeper understanding of what it means to live a life of faith and commitment to God. As we seek to deepen our connection with God, it's essential to recognize the importance of gratitude and praise in our spiritual journeys. When we focus on what we're thankful for, we can experience a shift in our perspective and see the world in a new light. One of the most powerful ways to experience God's presence in our lives is through worship. When we lift our voices and hearts in praise to God, we can experience a deeper sense of connection and unity with Him. The Bible is full of stories of people who have experienced remarkable transformations through their faith. One such story is that of Moses, who encountered God in the burning bush and was called to lead the Israelites out of slavery. Another powerful example is that of David, who trusted in God's presence and power to deliver him from the giant Goliath. These stories remind us that God is always with us, even in the darkest times, and that He is capable of performing miracles and wonders in our lives. In Psalm 91, we read about the protection and comfort that God provides to those who trust in Him. This psalm reminds us that God is our refuge and strength, and that He is always with us, even in the most challenging times. In John 14 verse 27, Jesus reminds us that He has given us His peace, and that it's not the same as the world's peace. This verse reminds us that God's peace is a supernatural peace that can calm our fears and doubts, even in the most turbulent times. As we seek to deepen our connection with God, it's essential to recognize the importance of forgiveness and mercy in our spiritual journeys. When we're willing to forgive ourselves and others, we can experience a deeper sense of freedom and release. In Jeremiah 29 verse 11, we read about God's plans for our lives, which are to prosper us and give us hope and a future. This verse reminds us that God has a good plan for our lives, and that He is always working for our good, even when we can't see it. As we summarize the key points discussed, I want to remind you that taking small, consistent steps can lead to a deeper faith and closeness to God. It's not about making drastic changes, but about committing to a daily practice of prayer, meditation, and reflection on God's Word. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, but to be faithful. By showing up each day and seeking to deepen our connection with God, we can experience the transformative power of His love and presence in our lives. If you're feeling encouraged to share your own experiences of how God has been working in your life, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm sure your story could inspire and encourage others. Don't forget to check out my other videos on faith and spirituality for further inspiration and guidance on your spiritual journey.